Hello and welcome back to Spin Your Jaw. Crowds are back finally, and how amazing is it to actually hear the fans. There's no fake crowd noise, which personally did my absolute nut in. Although I didn't realise how quickly the Mayweather-Paul fight came around, and to be honest, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought it was one big joke. I didn't actually think that it would happen. But I guess whatever you think about Logan Paul, that kid knows how to make his money. But before we get into that part of the episode, let's chat about BT Fight Night. We're going to kick this episode off with Caoimhin Agyarko against Ernesto Olvera in an international middleweight contest. I think Caoimhin had said this has been his longest camp to date, which was 13 weeks, but don't quote me on that. He also spent a few weeks out sparring with Billy Joe before the Canelo fight, and word on the street is that he sat him on his arse. I say word on the street because nobody will give me a confirmation. Now, I'm biased, so I apologise in advance. I love Caoimhin as a fighter. He's explosive, he's quick, he's compact, he lets his hands go. First round, Agyarko started really well. He's closing the gap very quickly, throws a heavy right hand, which takes Olvera off balance, and he follows it up with 3 heavy left hooks. Agyarko is able to anticipate Olvera's every move, and he just moves out his way. A very intelligent boxing brain and a really, really impressive first round. Second round, Olvera is struggling to catch Agyarko, and he's not really landing anything detrimental. His feet are really wide apart, meaning he's not as quick as Agyarko, and he keeps bringing himself square on straight into Agyarko. And it's these little mistakes that keep putting Olvera in vulnerable positions. Agyarko isn't holding his feet, he's quick in and out, he's loading on those big body shots, which took their toll on Olvera. Hindsight is such a nice thing, and rewatching the third round, Agyarko is still landing those quality body shots, and Olvera is almost goading him. He's smiling, he's shaking his head, saying that he can take them, and well, how did that work out? His footwork was better in that round though, but he's still walking straight into shots. Big shots from Agyarko in this round. I really would have liked to have seen it go on for another 2 rounds at least, but that was it. Third round, Olvera wanted no more, and after those body shots, do you know what, I really don't blame him. I wouldn't want them anymore either. A great win for Caoimhin. He was once again able to showcase himself as a fighter. He's got a lot of interest in him at the minute, so I'm excited to see what's next for him. On to Tommy Fury and Jordan Grant. Now I feel Tommy gets a lot of undeserved stick just because of Love Island, and people automatically link him to Tyson Fury and Tyson's achievements. I think it's really important to remember that he was only, 22 years old? Like, what were you doing at 22 years old? He's very early in his career, and he might have fought a few journeymen, but that's boxing at the end of the day. They're not going to stick him in with some 10-fight deep undefeated fighter just because of who his brother is. How does that make any sense for his career? Jordan Grant came out of his ring walk fighting. He's had 30 unlicensed fights before turning pro, so similar to Tommy in regards to amateur experience, that neither of them have gone down that route. First round, Grant is whipping those body shots from over the top. He's getting up close to Fury. I really like this start from Grant. He's an aggressive fighter, which, to be honest, is what Fury needed to be tested. Fury on the back foot, he's keeping his distance until he's ready, and he's worked out Grant, and I really appreciated how patient he actually was. We saw a lovely uppercut from Fury as Grant backed him up on the ropes and paired it with some great movement to get him back off the ropes and back into a more controlled scenario. Second round turned into a little bit more of a scrap as it heated up, and I really felt sorry for the ref. He was not impressed with either fighter though. How many times did he have to have a word with the lads? Like 2, 3? I think he even got clipped at one point. Into the third, Grant edged Fury back onto the ropes and exchanged some really good shots. Both fighters tying each other up, which was a little frustrating to see, but again, that could be stamina, fatigue. I don't know what else it could be. For me, Fury seemed to be in more control of the distance between the pair, but that didn't stop Grant from working his way up close with straight punches. He was almost launching himself at Fury. We had some beautiful shots from Fury as Grant was pushed in the corner. He was holding Grant though, so that obviously got split up, but there was a lot more power from Fury in this round. Fourth and final round, we got up close and personal. Both fighters must have been holding for about 30 seconds straight each time, just hitting each other with body shots. You know, those little kidney ones, like pew pew. Grant caught Fury with a lovely right hand, pushing Fury back onto the ropes. The ref goes in, and I think it's here when he gets clipped, and he is not happy. But you know what? I was pleasantly surprised. It was a proper good scrap, and I really enjoyed it. Grant really stuck it on Fury, and he came with a winning attitude. It wasn't meant to be for Grant though, with Fury winning 40-36 on the scorecards, taking his undefeated record up to 6. 6 months on from his loss to Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois takes to the ring once again, fighting Bogdan Dinu. And to be honest, this analysis is going to be quite quick. If you've seen the fight, I'm sure you'll understand. First round, Dubois is looking like the quicker fighter of the pair. His jab's a bit tighter, he's finding his rhythm, he's unloading right hands and right hooks to the body, and it's always nice to see a little bit of a quicker pace in the first round. Decent work from Dubois in the first, and he's looking like he's building his confidence back up, which I'm sure you can imagine isn't easy to do after a defeat of that magnitude that Joyce gave him. For me, Dinu isn't really landing anything spectacular. He's throwing his right hand a fair bit, but it's not always landing. Into the second, Dinu gets dropped. The long and the short of it, really. He relaxes back on the ropes. Dubois whips that right hand straight through the middle, and it's a really nice shot, actually. But that's it. That's the fight done and dusted in 30 seconds. At least give us something to talk about, lads. Just something. Anything. And to finish the episode, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. An exhibition fight that has no official winner, but both fighters are millions of pounds up. I will give it to Paul though, he did last 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather, which I wasn't expecting. And I'm not going to analyse each round because there was far too little landing, way too much holding, and just a lot of swinging from Paul. And you know, that's all well and good, swinging bats if you're down at the Wetherspoons on a Saturday night, but none of them are landing. You're just leaving yourself wide open, and you know, you're probably more susceptible to rotator cuff injuries. He's got some great speed, and speed is a great tool to have, but if you can't pair it alongside technique, plan and time your shots, then what is speed? My observation is that Paul didn't have the stamina, his cardio just wasn't there, hence 30 minutes of holding. And I don't know why everybody's saying that there was no knockout either. I'm assuming that Paul wasn't having a nap mid-fight, but look at this, chin gone, eyes shut, he's been held up by Mayweather. He might not have gone down into the canvas, but in my opinion, at this very moment, he was sparked. Statistically, Mayweather landed 7 of 14 jabs and Paul landed 7 of 73. So overall, not a thrilling fight. I'm glad I didn't get up at 4 AM to watch it. I'm glad I didn't pay for it, and I'll probably continue not to really have a lot of interest in these type of fights. Great moneymakers though. The whole YouTubers boxing doesn't really bother me, but I think that's just because I love like grassroots boxing. I love kids with stories and how boxing has saved and changed their lives, how boxing has given them a new purpose, and it's, you know, it's actually about the sport and not the money side of it. Let me know what you guys thought of it all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.